George has always been Peppa's little brother, and for years we've watched him grow up alongside the pig family. But now, what's going to happen to George now that he's no longer the youngest? And how will he react to this big change in the family? The reign. Everyone's noticed that George has always gotten VIP treatment in the pig family, right? Just look at the birthday parties. Peppa's party was a modest little get-together, almost like a picnic with a simple cake, juice, and just a handful of guests. But George's? That was practically the event of the year. There was a dinosaur-themed venue, a full catering service, personalized party favors, and flawless decorations. The only things missing were a dressing room with white towels and bodyguards at the door. For all these years, George has been treated like a true mud prince. He was the baby of the family, the cute one, the only character allowed to repeat the same word since the very first episode, dinosaur. And that wasn't just adorable. It basically became his signature. All the patience, attention, and affection revolved around him. Even his little mistakes turned into precious moments. Who hasn't seen George crying and thought, "Ah, how cute!" But now, times are changing. With the arrival of Eevee, a new star is entering the scene, the new baby of the family, and maybe the new star of the show too. And that brings up the big question, is George's reign about to be shaken? Will he and Mr. Dinosaur have to share the throne, the toys, and their parents' laps? Is he ready to give up his title as the family favorite? Or are we about to see, for the first time ever, a George who's upset, confused, and full of feelings he can't express with just a simple dinosaur? The crown could be at risk, and with it, the peace in the pig kingdom. With Eevee's arrival, George's role in the show could be about to change, and that's got a lot of fans curious, and even a little worried. But before we dive into how Eevee's arrival could shake things up, let's take a look at how George earned this special place in the pig family, and why this reign might be facing its biggest challenge yet. Stick with us for another fun video. Eevee. In May, the pig family grew. The third child, Eevee, arrived. And this wasn't just any birth, it was a royal event. There was a public announcement, full royal family vibes, and everything points to this baby arriving with an invisible crown already on her head. Many fans suspect that Eevee will become a major character on the show, and more than that, she might even be the future heir to the throne. After all, the queen in the show never had kids, and let's face it, it's about time to pass the crown. It's worth noting that even though she's a tribute to the late British monarch, in the show the queen is portrayed as alone, with no heir to pass the crown to. Eevee was born in the ultra-expensive royal hospital, the kind of place where they probably serve cookies and tea in the delivery room, and the entire announcement of her arrival had that formal, very British royal touch. Now, with this new little princess arriving, George loses his spot as the baby of the family, and the big question is, how will he handle that? For years, he's been the center of attention, the darling of the house, the mini monarch of the dinosaurs. Will he be okay sharing the spotlight, or will we hear a loud dinosaur in protest? Plus, let's not forget, Peppa might want to play with Eevee more since she's a girl like her, leaving poor little George with no one to play with, being forgotten. The most observant fans might already be spotting the first signs that George's reign is hanging by a thread. A toy forgotten in the corner, a drawing of Eevee pinned over his on the fridge, small hints that he's slowly being dethroned. Of course, this new dynamic will affect the whole family, but Peppa will probably handle it like a pro. After all, she's been through this before when George was born. Now for the little piggy, this whole sharing thing is going to be a brand new and not so fun experience, and we know he doesn't handle this kind of situation very well. Just think back to the episode George's Friend, where Mummy Pig tries to get him to share his dinosaur toy with Richard. The result? A crying fit that only stopped when the toy was back in George's hands. Now imagine, it won't just be the dinosaur. He'll have to share toys, attention, playtime, and, hardest of all, Daddy and Mummy. It's going to be an emotional challenge for our little piggy. But we're rooting for the pig family to find the best path forward, with lots of love and patience. Before we move on to what's next for George, drop a comment below saying dinosaur behavior. With Eevee's arrival, we might start noticing a subtle but important change in George's behavior. Unlike Peppa, who's super talkative and loves being the center of attention, George has always been more introverted, more in his own little world. And now, With Mom and Dad's focus shifting to the new baby, he might close himself off even more. The first signs of this could start showing up at school. He might begin distancing himself from his friends, isolating himself during playtime, and who knows, maybe it'll become even harder for him to express himself. The famous dinosaur might become a rare sound. All of this could be his way of coping with such a big family change. That's why the pig family is going to need a whole lot of patience and love right now. Adjusting to this new reality won't be easy for George. After all, he's lost his spot as the youngest and now has a sister who cries louder than he does. And Peppa's going to need some extra guidance too. Now that she has a little sister, and considering that she's always preferred playing with girls, it's only natural that she'll want to spend more time with Eevee. Just imagine, the two girls playing princesses, house, and having pretend tea parties, while poor George sits in the corner with his dinosaur, wearing the face of someone who just lost both his throne and his favorite toy. It's going to be a brand new chapter in the pig household. And while it'll come with its challenges, it's also the perfect opportunity to show how love and togetherness can help any family grow and overcome difficulties. Family. The pig family has always had a well-organized routine, just like many real families out there. Daddy Pig works outside the home, takes the kids to places every now and then, and Mummy Pig, despite working from home, is usually the one who handles it all. Lunch, snacks, school runs, bills, and about a million other things, including finding time to breathe. But now, with Eevee's arrival, everything's about to change. A newborn in the first few months requires full-time attention, and of course, Mummy Pig will need to dedicate almost all her time to her new baby. Daddy Pig, always the helpful and supportive partner, will probably take on more responsibilities and most likely become the new official school driver. Just not for pickups, right? After all, he works all day and someone's got to pay for all those muddy puddles. Mummy Pig, on the other hand, will have to juggle remote work, diapers, bottles, and the near impossible mission of keeping the house in order. And that means she'll be spending a lot more time with Eevee, which will definitely set off George's jealousy alarm. And honestly, maybe even Peppa will feel a little of that too. And let's not forget, the grandparents. They already pop in here and there to help out, but now they'll likely get promoted to full-time support crew. Granny Pig and Grandpa Pig will probably be around much more often, driving the kids around, telling stories, teaching new things, and sharing snacks filled with secrets and laughter. This might even strengthen the bond between them and George and Peppa, but not without a little awkwardness. George loves his grandparents, of course, but starting to spend more time with them than with his own mom, that's definitely going to stir up some feelings. And with this new family dynamic, it wouldn't be a surprise if a few conflicts popped up. Maybe a tantrum here, a sad dinosaur there. Because even little piggies need time to understand that love doesn't shrink when a family grows, it just multiplies, even if at first, it feels like a bit of a mess. And now's the perfect time for you, if you're not already subscribed, to hit that subscribe button. That way, you won't miss any new videos from the channel. The future. If all this isn't handled with love and care, little George might start to change, and not in a good way. With less attention, fewer playtimes with mom and dad, and with the new baby sister stealing all the spotlight, there's a chance he could become more withdrawn, or even a bit rebellious. Right now, we're already seeing tons of fans completely charmed by Eevee's arrival, and that could spark jealousy. Not just in George, but in Peppa too. But for George, it could be way more chaotic. And here's the worst part. He's never had an episode entirely dedicated to him. And if he realizes that, it could make him even more upset. The truth is, during Eevee's first year, Mom and Dad's time with George will naturally decrease. And for a kid who's already introverted and doesn't talk much, that could mean even more silence. And not the cute kind of silence, but the kind that hides some tough feelings. On the bright side, many fans are hoping the show will use this new phase to explore George's character more deeply. How about giving him some special moments, his own episodes, where we get to see his skills, his talents, and maybe even hear him say words other than dinosaur? Wouldn't that be amazing? By the way, remember the episode where Peppa tries to teach George how to ice skate? He totally nailed it, with a full-on jump spin and everything. He clearly has potential. He just needs to be recognized. Maybe this family growth will be just the push he needs to shine even more. And let's be honest, George deserves it. He may be quiet, but when he speaks, it's always unforgettable. The rebellion. If this isn't handled with care and attention, little George could end up going down a very different path than what we're used to. Can you imagine the cutest little pig in the series going full-on rebel mode? The sweet dino-loving George could start showing a more rebellious side, throwing toys around the house, messing with classmates at school, and even causing little scenes just to get attention. And what if it goes even further? What if George, tired of being ignored, turns into the story's little villain? We've seen this plotline in tons of kids' shows. The character forgotten by the adults starts acting out, drifts away from friends, and before anyone notices, transforms into a sad little villain, the kind we feel bad for, but still can't excuse. Could this be the start of George's dark era? The reign of the revengeful dinosaur? All jokes aside, it would actually be amazing to see the show dive deeper into this emotional side, showing that even the sweetest little pig can feel left out, and that with love and patience, everything can be worked out. George Pig is growing up, and with growth come changes. But will the pig family realize in time that their little one still needs attention and love? Or are we about to watch George fade into just a shadow of who he used to be, the baby brother who was once the family favorite? And if you love the world of Bluey and animated shows, we've got 2 awesome videos you're going to love watching. Thanks for sticking with us, and see you next time.